Okay, we are going to get right into it. No intro because these videos are going to be a little bit different in the way that I had to film them in 7 different segments. This is my new challenge group. I'm having so much fun with it. I'm so excited how many people have joined, how many people's pages are turning out amazing. But I will have it linked down below. It's the Craft IQ elevate your creativity. And this is the Craft IQ challenge. So it's like a blind challenge where you don't know what's coming, but it's also like a recipe challenge. I have 6 amazing crafty friends that are giving us prompts each day on your layer. So there are 7 total days. So the 1st through the 7th of every month, you get a piece of what your layout is supposed to have. So you have a choice. You can either wait until the end, until all 7 things are done, or you can do like some of us did, challenge yourself a little bit more and try to scrap along. I was able to go live for our first May at almost every day, and it was super fun. And I'm going to try to do that for June as well, just because it's new enough, and hopefully more people will join in on the challenge. And do not feel afraid to go back and do the challenges and add to the albums after the fact. Do not be afraid to do that. So if you join late and you want to just do the recipe challenge from the May one, go ahead, do it. I encourage it. My whole point is like, I want people to be able to learn from each other and not feel bad about seeing an idea and like using it. So that's the whole point of scrapping as you go and then sharing it if you want. You don't have to. Or seeing how other people interpret instructions and learning as you go. So anywho, blah, blah, blah. So the first thing we did, so on day 1 for May, and May got a little delayed just because of with International Scrapbooking Day, we decided not to start right away, just because there were so many other things going on. So we did start a little late. So normally from future dates, just so you have a little reference to, 1st through the 7th, you're going to get your 7 layers or your 7 parts. And then the 20th of every month, we're just going to have a hop and show off what we did. So you can either scrapbook every day or just do a process video of the one-time thing. So there's a lot of hand movement, a lot of extra stuff because I was going live every day that I did this. So, and I actually ended up only going live, I think 5 days. I combined the last 3, 5, 6, and 7 into one day just because I wasn't working. I was off for a little bit and then I had to go back to work and I didn't have time. So the first day, Katie Scott of Scrappy Sisters, she gave us this layer. It was, you have to have some mixed media on plain cardstock. Could be any colored cardstock, black cardstock, white cardstock, didn't matter. She said a little bit was okay. And at least 2 contrasting pattern papers creating a vertical design. Now, some people did just what I'm doing. Well, I did some stamping here using this awesome Pink Fresh Studio stamp. And my new thing is I'm liking doing 2 different colors, either on the stamp or at this time I'm doing salvage patina and then I think it's broken china. I'm going to stamp in one color and do some then like packaging technique over it with another color just to give it a little bit of depth. And I'm really liking that. I'm really liking the tone on tone, like just giving some extra depth thing. So that is my mixed media. And then I have, I'm using mostly Color Study. I don't think I bring in anything else really until later. Yeah. Mostly Vicky Bouton's new Color Study. So we're supposed to do at least a little bit of mixed media and then 2 contrasting papers to create a vertical design. And a lot of people did. What I'm doing is doing 2 strips of paper. Some people took it a whole nother notch and it was like, my mind was blown. I was like, duh, you don't have to have 2 strips as long as it's a vertical design, as long as your eye goes top to bottom and the papers create a vertical column, it doesn't matter. So there's some people that, Nicole Santos, for example, like she did triangles. It was amazing. I was like, duh, like that's awesome. So yeah, make sure you check out everybody else who is hopping along, who played along, some on Instagram, some on YouTube. So they will all be linked down below. So that was layer 1. So then I'm just taking actually the packaging from the embellishments and backing my 2 photos. There are 2 photos of my son waiting in the airport for his first time. His first time he's ever been to an airport, first time he had ever been on a plane. And this was a few years ago, 4 years ago actually. He was pretty little. We flew to Michigan for a wedding just because it was going to be a short stay, and it was so much better than to have to drive 7-8 hours with a 3-year-old. Yeah, not doing it. Or isn't it more than that? I think it's more than that from Minnesota. I don't remember. It's a long drive. That's all I remember. It might even be 10 hours. Anywho. And then I had, I wanted something else, another color. So I had this branding strip, and I cut it in half. And I'm distressing all my edges. Then I also trimmed down the cardstock a little bit, and then framed it with the black cardstock. So I have that. And the whole key to scrapping along with it is try not to glue down. I mean, luckily ATG peels up really well, so I would put just a little tack, because that's not going to be a big deal. And as long as you put it in places that if it rips a little bit, you probably can cover it up. So I tacked things down just by putting a tiny bit of ATG, but that was it. And then I'm going to add a little stamping. I have one of these stamps. I don't remember where it's from. That was random. Something just flew off a shelf. I don't remember where it's from, but it's just the stamp set comes with different textures and stuff. So I'm just adding some black stamping. So here is my make art board. Perfect for using for this challenge. You know, it almost seems like I made this challenge just to use my make art board. I did not, but I mean, this is a great use for it. I never use it otherwise. I have not been making cards like I want to, and that's what I usually use it for. And then layer 2 or day 2 was from Daisie, Daisie Scraps, and she said to represent music. Either use it in your title, in your embellishments, make it the subject of your photos, incorporate it any way you can. So I decided I was going to get out my thicker guides and we're going to get on a plane. So what comes to mind? Leaving on a jet plane. So that is going to be my title. So I'm going to stick that down. I have these thickers that have some faux stitching on them that are black that I really, really love. So I stick those down using my guides, and I love the way that looks. It's creating like a circle in the center. So fun. So then now, just because I was going live, and then I'm trying to figure out what else do I want on my page, but I don't want to make any sudden movements or any real commitments, because we still have 5 days left of people telling us what we need to add to our page. So I'm just kind of playing around. So now we're on to day 3, and Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life said, let's add stars. So now we have to add some stars. So I happen to have also the thickers from Vicki Bouton's Color Study. They're over, or the chipboard stickers. They're in my How to Kill a Kit with Style for this month. So I reached over there and grabbed them just because that's perfect. Add a little color and shine, or a little shimmer and shine to my page. So I'm just going to grab all the stars from that chipboard sheet and add them on. And I'm still trying to figure out what else I would want to do with my layout and decide what else can I add. So day 4, Janet decides to, Shannon Aller from She's Crafty decides to throw a wrench in everybody. And there were so many people that were like, you said not to glue. I was like, yep. Decided to say, let's use 2 different fonts in your title. So you could either have a title and then a subtitle, or just 2 different fonts. So she's 2 different fonts, make sure you have 3 of something, and to use a punch. So she threw tons of stuff at us. And there are no rules for what they can give us, except for we've decided that in the beginning, nobody can tell you how many photos later or a color scheme later. That has to be said at the beginning if you're going to do it. Otherwise, if it's not mentioned in step 1 or layer 1 or day 1, you can do whatever you want. So nobody can change the color scheme. Like, for example, we did a test run and I decided to post a mood board. Nobody can add a mood board later on because people have already started cutting, pasting, picking out their photos, picking out their papers, because they're building their scrapbook day by day. So that is something we will never do to you. We will never change how many photos we want you to use later, and we will never change the color scheme on you later. That will have to be mentioned in day 1 if it's going to be. But Shannon's definitely threw a little bit of a wrench. Luckily, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to change the Anna words in my title. It meets the requirements. It's not anything creative by any means, but I could have done a whole subtitle in a smaller little font, but I wasn't sure, especially with the title I had. I didn't really want to continue any lyrics of the song, so I figured this was the easiest way. And then I love my notebook punch, grabbed that and just some white cardstock to add a pop behind that one photo, grabbing that. And then I decided to dig out 3 of the vellum pieces out of the collection. And I'm adding those in those 3 areas behind my photos and kind of where I'm going to have clusters. So that worked out great. And then it adds a little bit more of that shimmer and iridescence that the stars have. And so now we are getting closer. Our page is starting to look done, but it's like we have 3 days left. So take a deep breath. Don't glue things down too far. And let's add day 5 and 6 and 7, right? So then day 5 is going to be from Janet Fritz, Galaxy Girl Creations. And she decides to say, let's use something from our stash that's at least 5 years old, or if you have a newer stash, your oldest item. Well, I happen to be using some of my papers and things in my Product Focus Friday that are all very, very old. And I had this beautiful yellow paper from Jelly Bean Soup from 2011, a collection. And then also this cardstock that came in a scrap room kit from probably also 2011. So I decided just to add a couple layers behind my photos. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So that's going to be my at least 5 years old item, and they're 10 years old. So I think I have some older stuff too. I just happened to have that on my desk and it coordinated. It went with it really well. And then on day 6, our guest designers, or our guest layerists. So every month also, we will just randomly pick a winner from those in the album, and you get to decide a layer. And I will put it randomly on a day. It won't be the same day every month. And that's the other thing. All of us that are doing layers or days are going to be kind of switching it up. We're going to kind of change who's first. We're all going to stay in relatively the same order, but we're going to rotate it. And then we're going to add a guest person in randomly between 2 through 6. So they will be in there as well. But this month, because we did the test run, I asked my friend Rebecca Lockhart and Jody Compton to join in with us in April when we did our test run. And so they together decided we should add Sequins and Splatters. So right now I am doing some splatters, or I should say, in You're the Zest and I think Blew Me Darn. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I did those. I just lifted up see, that was so easy to lift that up because I hadn't glued it yet. So if you don't have a magnetic board and you were thinking about getting one, this would be a great reason if I need to enable anybody. Otherwise, if you have one, this is a great way to use it to hold this layout together while you're doing it day by day. And a lot of people said they had a lot of fun. So I'm really, really happy about that. And I hope everybody continues to have fun. Like I said, don't feel bad if you start and you don't end up finishing. Don't feel bad. There's no requirements. I don't care if you want to join in the hop. It's just an option. So I add my layers of those 2 papers. I'm going to distress them a little bit. And then I'm going to start rebuilding that center. And since this was the last day and I knew what day 7 was, I'm going to start gluing down. Because I was day 7 and I decided to add stitching, either fall stamped by hand or machine, however you want. And I already had taken care of that with my thickers. It was a planned strategic move on my part to use those thickers, which is not very fair to everybody else because I guess I knew what I was going to do and I was day 7, but everybody else on the design team, everybody else doing the layers also knows theirs. So they have a little bit of an edge so they can build their layout a little bit, knowing what their layer is. But I do add some faux stitching around the edge as well. I believe it's just Moira and I believe her name was Jackie as well, were joining me that day for live. So it was fun. I was just chatting with 2 people. And so they were like, yeah, add stitching all the way around. So I'm going to add some faux stitching all the way around. And then I also grab Oops-a-Daisy sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps. And that's the sequins I'm going to use. I'm just going to scatter them around kind of all the way around the circle. And then it really hones into that circular design I have going on in the center with that line of papers. And now I was really toying with trying to figure out where I should do for journaling down below there's that weird space between the photos and the curved title below that left photo that I really wanted to do something with. So I grabbed some labels. I happened to find, I had these Pretty Little Studio labels. They were just the right light blue. And I'm going to tuck that one in there. I'm actually going to add some black faux stitching around the edge of it first. And then I will do black faux stitching around the edge of my entire layout with my pen there. And that is pretty much it. I'm going to journal. I'm set. It's good to go. I'm super proud of the way it turned out. I hope you guys join in. I hope everybody who already did had tons of fun. I can't wait to see everybody's layout. Some people weren't sharing their layouts until Hop Day, so I'm so excited to see all of them. And yeah, come on, join us June 1st, just 2 days away, and check it out. So link down below for the group, and hope to see you there. Bye.